Alright, Raz, so we just got done talking about Helwyr, and how you had to bank after a few kills, so obviously just show you, here's the DMs between me and you. So what I did here is, when book, I didn't use a Zuck cape, I just threw on a max cape because I believe you are max. If not, this doesn't make too much of a difference on my DPS. This has a flanking switch, I used the tier 90 for a flanking switch, it's not going to help me at all. Over here is Aftershock 4 and Eruptive, which is on most. I have Relentless 5 and Crackling 4, but they're in separate gizmos, which normally they're in a gizmo together. So I think you'd be able to get this even at your level. And then here, Invigorating 4 ain't gonna help me much. Undead Slayer not gonna help me at all. And then the other two, Devoted 4 and Impatient 4, should help quite a bit. So regular overload, because I didn't want to use an Elder Salve. I didn't know what you had for overloads. Demon Horn Necklace, in case I decide to use his bones for prayer and his little wolves for prayer, I can do that. I'd recommend either Penance Aura or Vampirism, depending. If you're going Vampirism, probably the Demon Horn needs to be on, just to help with that prayer. If Penance is on, you go to Vampirism, because Penance should be able to keep you going. On top of that, Penance Powder added on top of the Aura should 100% keep you going. I'm going to use a Ripper Demon, passive DPS. I'm going to sip this overload. I'm going to pop a Penance Aura. And then I'm not even going to pop a DPS prayer. So here's the thing. Those green mushrooms, you can surge, you can dive, but when it comes to walking, it takes forever. So I'm going to pop Darkness real quick. I'm going to pop Invoke Death. I'm going to pop all of my things to be summoned. I'm just going to pray melee. Now he applies a bleed on 2 different specs. So, and that's what I was asking. The very first spec, which is this, where he applies the bleed, you'll see it right there. Don't clear it. You'll save freedom to clear it, but do not clear it on this spec. You're going to wait till he starts doing the jump around thing. So right there, just get away from him. And once you're away from him, then you clear it. Because if you cleared it on the first one, the second one's just going to reapply those bleeds. So it was no point using them. Do this. I'm going to do a volley. Scythe. You don't have to do everything that I'm doing. I'm kind of just showing you what I would do. And if for some reason, if I were to get stuck in a mushroom like this, I would just surge. Like, just get away from the mushroom. Now, granted, I got stunned in that one. But typically, you would anticipate. His very first spec is mushrooms. So, like, after he starts turning into a wolf, which I'll show you at the beginning of the following kill, you would go ahead and anticipate right then and there, because you know that the the spec is coming soon. I know in AFK, obviously the AFK strat here is there's a certain square within this. There's like one spot you sit in. It might be right here. It might be off a tile or two, where like you're unlikely to get mushrooms here compared to other spots. So keep in mind, I prayed melee that whole time. Usually you can switch to soul split after you get away from him, like doing all that jump stuff. I'll make sure to do it this next kill. So hopefully I have him set to the highest spawn. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and jump out and jump back in just to make sure. Yeah, he's on standard. So fastest, rejoin. Jump back in. Invoke Death. So he's going to spawn right as he gets to become like the wolf. Go ahead and anticipate. Because if he does spawn mushroom on you, then you're allowed to run since you're anticipated. And what you can do for this spec right here, you can literally just pop Resonance and get like 3k heals, but then switch back to pray melee. Like I said, I still got that bleed on me. Once you get away, you can freedom, switch to soul split, and you should be fine. I mean, you can throw weapon spec out, you can throw bloat out, which is passive damage. When the 2 wolves get near you, you can do double scythe. But keep in mind, after his jump around, or after he summons wolves, his next spec will be mushrooms again. Once again, big hit. But he'll be dead here soon. Dead. I'll do a couple more kills to show you how I deal with it. But that's Helwyr in a nutshell. Like I said, you can use Vampirism, you can use Penance. If you're worried about whether you're going to keep Prayer going or not, you can even use Penance Powder no matter what, like every kill. So, right now, my prayer is being sustained due to the aura. I could even pop this, which gives me 300 prayer points, or 595 prayer points, I'm sorry, over the time of 6 minutes. So he popped mushrooms. I can go ahead and anticipate, or well, don't need to anymore. Don't listen to that. I'm a little dyslexic. Not really, but all jokes. I was supposed to summon my ghosts and all my other stuff the moment he spawned. I was late on that. Doing jumping around, ran away, soul split. Anytime your 6 necrosis stacks or higher, prioritize finger over weapon spec. Anything lower than 6, use your weapon spec. He's going to do mushrooms here in a second. So now I'm in the mushroom. Just walk out of it. I want to say freedom for the bleed. Wait for the bleed to come out. Get away from him. And notice I haven't eaten a piece of food. My health is still fairly high. Oh, and I haven't even activated my wind book. Let's do that now. So I'm just gonna reapply darkness just to do it. Go ahead, and the moment he spawns, I'm gonna do summon everything, which is right here, Undead Army. Invoke death. And then anticipate. Get back on him. I can res this, or you can use divert. If you have divert instead of healing you will give you adrenaline. If you're full health, I would highly recommend divert. Get away from him, freedom, go into soul split. And then double finger. And after double finger weapon spec. The wolves get close, and then I do like to do the two levels of scythe. If you need to, you can do 3, but usually 2 is enough. You want to pray melee for this hit or res it, because it is a big hit. It's like a 3,000 to 4,000 hit, plus it adds the bleed effect. But like I said, there's a melee setup that is very, very chill here. But it requires high level melee gear and like a high level setup. I'll do one more kill before the end of the video, but like I said, one book. All this is T90 DPS. You could go to tank. Completely your choice. Both work. Do this, do that. Just take the hit. Get away from them. Freedom. Soul split. And you can always wait until the jump's over. If you don't want to move, you can just wait till the jump's over to freedom that bleed. But if you just want to get the bleed off you immediately, then that's another way. Another thing you can do instead of scythe is Threads of Fate into a volley. It'll hit all the wolves and kill them while you're dealing with Helwyr. And like I said, so we're at max HP. We've only used an overload. We have yet to use Excalibur to heal us. We've yet to use Shard to keep our prayer up. And this is just a basic setup I built in 5 minutes. The Nexus is not necessarily needed. You don't need Zimmer goals. Just any Nexus just to hold your Necro runes. Honestly, you don't even need to hold your Necro runes as long as you just have all this stuff with you inside this pouch. Like I said, all tier 90. We used a luck ring, so we didn't have any DPS ring. And that's basically it. So the very beginning of the kill, all you do is the moment you see him spawn as the human, summon all conjures. If you have summon army, do summon army. Invoke death, anticipate. That's the first 3 things you do. Pray melee. All the way up until the jump. So he'll get on his hind legs. So what he'll do is mushrooms first, which is the very beginning. He'll get on his hind legs and hit you with a big attack. You can res that, or you can divert, or you can even devo it if you just want to take the safe route. The third spec is when he starts jumping around and spinning. Just get away from him wherever he's at. And then freedom, soul split, go ham. And that's how you deal with Helwyr.